H Plus was first brought to my company as a potential television series, but I felt that the subject matter about transhumanism, technology going wrong, implants that mimic the internet, and the structure of the show was probably better suited as an internet series, and because it also has a global quality to it, and the internet can transmit content globally. Now, I felt it was a real great opportunity to create something cinematic for the internet.
How did you arrive on Chile, or who had identified that as a place that had these varied landscapes?
We had sent the location teams to Chile to look at the potential for shooting there, and found that they had really great crews, and they had such a wide diversity of locations, a good talent pool, and really we could make it look,
right,
global.
And what was the shoot schedule like? When did you start? How long was the shoot?
Months ago. I don't remember the dates. I'm bad with dates, things like that. We shot over, we shot over several months in Chile.
You kind of mentioned the appeal of this transhumanism and all that. Do you find it at all curious that you have kind of at the same time this summer 2 different shows debuting from kind of very prominent, in your case a filmmaker, in Anthony Zuiker's case a showrunner, kind of about technology gone wrong airing on the web rather than say in film or television?
Yeah, I think that there's, all these ideas, very often come at the same time. I mean, I'm directing a fairy tale movie right now, Jack the Giant Killer. I signed a deal to do that before Alice in Wonderland ever came out. I thought I was ahead of the curve, and suddenly, it's the trend. So I think, I think it's natural as our camera equipment is better.
Right.
We're able to shoot finer looking stuff for the internet, and also, I think it's natural to introduce content on the internet that is somewhat reflexive.
Right.
I think it's interesting. I think when someone's watching something on their computer, particularly the kind of people who watch content on their computers, which is growing very fast, they have a great, they're starting to understand technology better, and they have an affection for technology, and they want to see things about technology.
When you, at the very beginning of the show, you jump a lot. I've only seen the first 12 episodes, which is what I was given to see. You jump very quickly from place to place in kind of each of the early episodes. Do you feel like that's actually easier, or perhaps for the series as a whole as well, easier to see in those chunks, or do you still feel like it's meant to be watched kind of continuously?
I think the most fun way to watch it is to see it non-linear, to begin it with the event that occurs,
right,
and then to bounce around a bit, because that the next episode is going to take you to someplace new,
right,
and then just when you've explored the world enough, you go right back to minutes after that event, and so the tension is still there, and I think it's kind of fun that way. It's a little like a mystery that you're able to solve from the inside out. It's almost like the climax is the event,
right,
and now you go forward and backward in time to kind of piece together what that all means, how that all happened, and how that's affected humanity and the characters.
Now, with it, the idea came to you. How did you? Was it you who chose the director? Kind of, what was the progression of the project from there?
Yeah, we developed the project with the writers, and then ultimately found Stuart Handler, who we knew personally, and who had done some of these really fantastic commercial spots that showed that he was able to shoot aggressively, cinematically, on a very tight budget, and he's a good guy, and had a really strong vision for the project, and we brought him on board, and he was tireless. I mean, tireless.
Why the repetition in that case, I guess?
It was a very ambitious project. You're creating a very high level of content, a very elegant show on a pretty tight budget, wrangling a very varied international cast, shooting in a foreign country. It can be challenging, and it's a lot to do. It's a lot of content.
Right.
How
long is it in the full 48?
I mean, if you glued the whole thing together, it'd be about 3 hours of content.
Wow.
So, and if one wanted to, one could repurpose it and make it, a two-part miniseries or something like that. It's projection quality. I mean, you could put it in a theater and it'd look gorgeous.
Yeah, having just spoken with Alexis and Hannah, that was the one thing that they kind of expressed, to be honest, surprised by how high the visual.
Well, my feelings about that are, in the dawn of television, you basically had, vaudevillian comedy, you had the variety show, three-camera, the Honeymooners, I Love Lucy, and eventually you had the one-hour drama, you had the TV movie, now very elegant miniseries. So I think it's a natural progression as web programming evolves to go from Charlie Bit My Finger to some more elegant narrative programming.
Do you think, in order to kind of have web video take that next step, that you really do, you need these types of programming? Because there are studios and companies that are really dedicated to kind of that more classic YouTube video, that while they may be stepping up the value of that and kind of finding a better way of filming it, is still at its core Charlie Bit My Finger or a recap of something. Do you need the H pluses and Electric Cities to propel it forward?
Yes, I definitely think you need them. I definitely think you need them because it isn't just, H Plus isn't just putting a half-hour or one-hour drama on the web. It's designing a show, smaller format, episodes, from the point of view that each episode begins with, to the cliffhanger at the end, to the nonlinear aspect of it, to the ability to reorganize the episodes if you want, to collect them, to interact with the show, to talkbacks and things like that. That's very much catered to the internet, and yet it gives something else besides just a comedic moment or a streaming gag. It gives you something cinematic. People like high quality images. They like.
How does that reorganization work?
What you do is you would download a whole number of episodes, and then you can just mix them around and play them in any order you want.
Right.
So if there's a favorite storyline or favorite character, you can watch those in order. If you wanted to take the whole piece when it's all broadcast and actually put it together into a 3-hour movie, you could do that, and it might be interesting. It might play differently. So it's not quite a video game where you're driving the characters around. No, we're driving the characters around. We're creating the narrative, but you can play with that narrative, and I'm not offended by it. Some filmmakers are. Don't mess with my movie.